What you see here are some of the scariest crocodile and alligator animatronics in the world. Today you ranked 9 submechanophobia-inducing alligators. I'm Walt, the animatronic duck, and today I'm joined by Will Engel to talk about these animatronic crocs. From giant movie nightmares to some terrifying theme park alligators. There are many more alligators to cover. Leave a comment saying part 3 if you want another part. And remember, I always quack back.
Warning, if you don't like the video and subscribe, these animatronics will appear the next time you go swimming. Don't say we didn't warn you. Rogue crocodiles. At Fastpass Facts, we don't discriminate against animatronics. In this list, we'll see everything from super basic animatronics to complex giant beasts, like these terrifying crocodiles from the movie Rogue, made by John Cox's Creature Workshop. The Australian studio has created animatronics for films such as Babe, George of the Jungle 2, Alien Covenant, and of course, Rogue, an Australian independent film about a group of tourists attacked by a sinister 25-foot-long crocodile. To bring this creature to life, the Rogue team hired Animal Logic to create the VFX scenes we see in this breakdown of special effects. They also wanted a physical crocodile to add an element of realism, so that the actors could feel the fear of seeing the creature that VFX can provide. For this, they called on John Cox and his team. As we'd mentioned before, to make these types of animatronics, a scale model must first be created and sculpted. The artist had photographs to ensure perfect details. As you can see, this process is meticulous and quite detailed, sculpting each part of the skin by hand, something rarely seen today. After this, the rigging team developed a cage-like system filled with pistons, and with a sequence tail to achieve motion with the physical principle of follow-through. This means that the first movement will recycle into the next part of the tail in a sequence. Then, the body made of fiberglass is added. This skeleton is reinforced with foam and textured. This crocodile has giant pistons to perform all mechanical functions with aggression and force. Engineers have to install and control the pressure for this mechanism to have the best precision without overloading the pistons. Finally, all cosmetic details are added, and Croc is ready for action. The best part is that for this movie, 2 of these gigantic crocodiles were created. One full-bodied and a second one with only half a body for more demanding shots. The final result is truly surprising and terrifying, thanks to how realistically this creature moves. From small expressions in the eyes to movements in the neck, it really is like seeing one of these creatures in real life. The crocodile is controlled by 3 puppeteers, and also has a special tail to attack with great power and force. One of the most incredible features of these crocodiles is that a special implant was created to create the effect of a crocodile being impaled through the brain. A rather terrifying but super efficient effect. Because of YouTube's guidelines, we can't show the footage here, but we will be sharing it on our Instagram. So go ahead and check it out. And if you do, please give us a follow and send Walt a message. But if you think this crocodile is giant, you won't believe another one that was made from this same workshop. But we'll see it later, so stay tuned. Blood Surf Movie. This list will feature some very obscure and lesser-known animatronics, such as the crocodile from Blood Surf. Blood Surf is an independent horror film with an infamous 16% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. But that doesn't take away from its excellent mechanical crocodile. This animatronic was designed by Kenneth J. Hall of Total Fabrication, specialists in creating props, animatronics, and costumes for movies. Among their notable works is the design and supervision of characters for Willy's Wonderland. Total Fabrication was tasked with creating a giant mechanical crocodile to be the monster of the movie. The team quickly created a polyphone cast, made patterns from it, and then enlarged them before transferring them to a more flexible material called L200. They cut all the pieces and assembled the gigantic skeleton. After this, they began adding details like scales and imperfections. The team mentions that the most challenging part was the neck, because it had to be slim without any filler to maintain flexibility while also being sturdy enough to support the weight of the head. Once they achieved this, the piece was sealed and covered with latex before being transported for painting details and final touches. The mechanical crocodile uses compressed air tanks for movement, so that it could be taken to various locations without needing any electrical power and could be pushed to chase the actor. As we can see, the crocodile looks incredible, gigantic, and super intimidating. This animatronic was controlled by two pulleys, one for controlling the movements of the neck and head, and another for controlling the jaw. The final piece can be appreciated in this scene where the crocodile destroys part of the set and almost completely devours one of the actors. Perhaps the movie is very bad, but it's always appreciated to have real props rather than poorly made CGI creatures that completely detract from the plot, don't you think? Mstar Crocodile. In our previous video, we talked about this crocodile from MCS Animatronics in China, designed to submerge in water. However, we couldn't find a video of the crocodile in the water, so to make up for it, today we're going to talk about another crocodile from another Chinese company called Mstar. They specialize in creating animatronics for exhibitions, whether it's for theme parks, museums, or zoos. This company has dedicated itself to building everything from floats, giant sculptures, plant sculptures, natural scenery, and especially animatronics, which is why we're here. Recently, while looking for candidates for the video, we came across this truly terrifying video. However, we couldn't find any more information about this animatronic anywhere else. So we contacted the company directly to find out how it works and what features this crocodile has. The crocodile we see here is a modified version of the one we see in this image. Mstar produces this crocodile in two sizes, 8.2 feet and 18 feet. In environments where the water is murky, like in the video, the Mstar team only manufactures the animatronic from the head up to save cost, as there would be no point in working on something that is covered by water, right? By the way, speaking of murky water, which do you find scarier, an animatronic in murky water or clear water? This question was left by our subscriber C Films, but anyways, the creation process is very similar to that used by MCS Animatronics. But if the animatronic is going to be underwater, they need a special process to make it waterproof. This crocodile is truly magnificent, and we were able to confirm that when we uploaded this footage to the Submerged animatronic community on Reddit. By the way, shout out to this incredible community. This crocodile can be fully customized with motion sensors. Would you buy one as an alarm for your house? Killer Crocodile. Italian, 1989. If we were given one nickel for every time an Italian horror movie tried to rip off Jaws, we'd have 2 nickels. It's not much, but it's rare that it happened twice. Those who watched our video about the most chilling animatronic sharks may remember this Italian gem called The Last Shark, a horror movie totally based on Jaws. It seems that in the 80s, Italian horror directors had an obsession with Jaws because, in 1989, director Fabrizio De Angelis released Killer Crocodile. Many say it's a total ripoff of Jaws, but with a crocodile, including the almost identical main theme to John Williams. This is one of those movies that many say is so bad it's good. And one thing all critics agree on is that the animatronic, created by Gianetto De Rossi, is one of the best things about this movie. This creature is truly terrifying because of its size and design. Although at first glance, you might notice that it's an animatronic because it doesn't close its eyes and doesn't move as naturally as other animatronics we've seen in other movies, but it's still really cool and amazing to watch. The plot of this movie tells the story of a group of ecologists investigating pollution in a river, only to discover that due to its toxic waste, a mutant killer croc has developed. This killer croc really steals the show, and we see it devouring people, submerging in water, and attacking hundreds of villagers. We also see certain scenes with the croc that remind us of Jaws, like the final part of the movie where the croc is defeated. The curious thing about this production is that it was filmed alongside Killer Crocodile 2, but this time directed by Gianetto De Rossi. In this sequel, the mechanical creature returns with more destruction and chaos. Many may complain about the plot and how similar they are to the Jaws movies, but we have to admit that these cult gems shine on their own, and thanks to these movies, we were able to see such a nightmare submechanophobia-inducing creature. We would like to see a return of these kind of movies with giant monsters, but with animatronics and not VFX. It would be spectacular to see what they can create with today's technology. Our next segment shows that with a low budget, terrifying creatures can be created, and you can even buy them. Let's see what it's about. Giant crocodile head. And once again, we're heading to China. which seems to have a close relationship with Crocodile Animatronics. But what stands out this time is the gigantic size of the animatronic. Litro Landscape is a Chinese company founded in 1996, specializing in making animatronic props and displays for events and theme parks. But their main expertise lies in giant animatronics. They've created various animatronics, including dinosaurs, insects, robots, and of course, crocodiles. This company has even worked for Shanghai Disneyland. The enormous crocodile head was initially designed for the Thailand-famous Cannes statue show, a show with live actors, animatronics, projections, etc. In one of the scenes, we can see this gigantic crocodile in action. The process to create this animatronic is very similar to what we have seen in different animatronics made in Chinese factories. This animatronic can be customized to be larger or smaller, according to the needs of the project. It is capable of moving its head in all directions, moving its jaw, and emitting smoke. This creature can be controlled by various mechanisms, including motion sensors, coin machines, remote control, timer, or pre-programmed. In this demo, we can see how the crocodile is being controlled by remote control. Also, LED lights were included in this version so that the smoke appears to change color. It is a truly fantastic machine, and the cost for such creatures is relatively low considering all it offers. You can order it from $26,800, but if you order a set of 5 of these crocodiles, the cost is reduced to $22,500. Imagine having a squad of these crocodiles at your home. It would be insane, right? If you had the extra money, would you order them? Efteling, Fata Morgana. And now we are happy to be talking about one of our favorite theme parks in the world once again, Efteling. The Duck Squad has asked us several times to feature these animatronics, and we are very happy to oblige. Fata Morgana is an incredible dark ride filled with animatronics and amazing scenes with extraordinary music and ambiance, located in Efteling in the Netherlands. By the way, greetings to all our Dutch ducks, as we know there are many in our audience. The ride opened in 1986, and as we already mentioned, it has incredible scenes, like this one with the djinn, and this spectacular view. However, many have said that the ride has some scenes that trigger them, like this drowning animatronic. But undoubtedly, the one that gets the most comments are these crocodiles. After passing through the harem scene, our boat passes through a dark valley where we can see street vendors, stairs, and rats. But just before moving on to the next section, we encounter a swamp with 2 crocodiles. One is calmly relaxed, but the other is ready to attack. Our boat passes close to them, and one of them lunges at the boat. What scares people the most and makes their hair stand on end is that they can see the mechanisms and rails of the crocodile. The crocodile is not advanced or complex at all, but as we've said before, often the simplest things are the most effective, don't you think? This ride is a must, and if you want to know more, check out the video that appears in the card. Let's move on to our next contenders. Distortions Unlimited Alligator. Distortions Unlimited is one of our favorite animatronic companies, and we've talked about them countless times on the channel. But today, we have such an interesting story that we just have to share with you. This crocodile you see here is a classic from Distortions, but creating it was quite a challenge. Not because of the difficulty of construction, but due to a repulsive detail. You see, Ed Edmonds, co-founder of Distortions, recounts that they wanted to make this animatronic as realistic as possible. So they sought a legal way to obtain a real crocodile to make a mold from. The only problem was that in Florida at the time, there were only 2 authorized poachers, and they only had permission to hunt crocodiles invading pools or residential areas. So the Distortions team had to wait 2 years to finally obtain a specimen. Finally, they were notified that the crocodile would be sent from Florida to Denver. The problem arose when they realized that, upon arrival, the crocodile had started to decompose and rot. However, they had no choice but to work with the rotten crocodile. Ed mentions the smell was so horrible during the molding process that simply being in the room would make all the clothes permeated with the awful odor, rendering them unusable. Finally, they managed to finish the mold, installed the mechanisms, and thanks to this disgusting odyssey, they managed to create this animatronic. Perhaps this segment isn't as technical as previous points, but it's undoubtedly a very interesting crocodile story and worthy of this video. Sommerland Jungle Safari. Sjælland. In Denmark, in more specifically Sommerland Sjælland, there's a ride that is a nightmare for those suffering from submechanophobia. We're talking about the Amazonas Jungle Safari Ride. This is a boat ride inspired by an adventure through the Amazon. The ride lasts approximately 10 minutes and is full of terrifying animated props, some of which are pretty bizarre. But all of this makes this attraction a great boat ride. In the beginning of the ride, we can see this animated prop of a villager emerging from the water in a horrifying way. It's pretty eerie to see how it also submerges again. Just the thought that this prop is under the water for so long gives us chills. As if that weren't enough, as soon as we pass this villager, we encounter this terrifying crocodile eating an arm. The crocodile is semi-submerged and moves in and out of the water. This ride is a goldmine for people who have submechanophobia. Just look at this jeep tragically sinking. After this, we can see two semi-submerged crocodile props, the first completely still and the second with a very weird motion, which we see here with a villager who seems to be struggling with it. After this, yet another crocodile emerges from the water, attacking with its scary teeth. We can't deny that we were surprised to see so many props and elements on this ride, especially to see that most of it is full of crocodiles. But one of the most terrifying scenes of this ride is the one with a giant crocodile attacking a raft full of children. Here, the crocodile lunges back and forth. This is one of the largest croc props in this ride. After passing this scene, we enter a cave where we can see this strange figure filled with lights. The truth is, we don't know what it is, and that makes it super terrifying. As soon as we exit the cave, we can see this gigantic three-headed reptile. The design is incredible, and it's a very eye-catching prop. And while it's not submerged in water, it is, for us, the coolest detail of the ride. The next scene could also be said to be one of the worst, because we can see a croc swimming in circles, attacking some type of soldier or guard. We've noticed that these types of scenes with props swimming in circles trigger many of you, and we definitely understand why. Finally, we arrive at the remains of a sunken ship, and with that, the ride ends. This is a ride full of crocs, and couldn't be missing from this list. But let's continue with our list and more terrifying crocodiles. Watermouth Castle. This crocodile is world famous in the submechanophobia community, but incredibly, we've never covered it before. So this is the perfect opportunity to talk about it. As you can see, this isn't the most sophisticated animatronic in the world. It might not even be considered an animatronic. You could say it's more of an animated prop, since it probably only works with a motor. Additionally, it looks like it's made out of paper mache, but often this adds to the fear factor. This crocodile is located in Watermouth Castle, near Ilfracombe, Devon, and it's part of various exhibitions in the castle. Among them is a small window-like cave where, when you approach it, you can see a pair of yellow eyes emerging from the depths of a small body of water. The jerky movements from this animated prop makes this view pretty disturbing for anyone who watches it. And the fact that the cave is pretty dark makes it even more creepy to experience it. The simplicity of this partially submerged animatronic has made this croc a favorite and an icon in the community. And honestly, we can see why. There are still so many crocodiles and alligators to discover, like the ones from Rainforest Cafe, or these nightmare-inducing submechanophobic ones. Leave a comment if you want to see part 3, and if you haven't seen part 1 yet, you can watch it here. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and remember, we always quack back.